Hello and welcome to the Oily Crafter. I'm Judy Medore. My husband Greg is behind the video for today, and today's project is going to be a Glowforge project for Halloween. I am doing a colander that is going to be a perpetual calendar at the same time, or a countdown calendar. So what we're going to do from here is go over the different pieces. So we're going to come over here and look at this, and I'm going to show you what the front looks like. This is an unfinished project. It's made of 1/8" MDF. This is the main part of the cauldron. We have the ooey gooey spillover stuff. Not really sure what to call it. Bubbles, maybe. It's going to be our, there we go, the oil toilet bubbles. And then we're going to have our words, the witching hour in the middle. I have this right here because it's going to be painted separate and then glued on. And then draws near. It's going to go right there where I have the etching done at. On the painting of the cauldron itself, I'm going to be using most likely a hammered, because I like it's going to make it kind of look like it's a metal, which I hope it turns out the way I think it will. And then for one of the things I haven't shown you yet, on the back, for the perpetual calendar part of it, we're going to have these rings. And each of these rings have numbers on it. This one's 0 to 9. And this one's 0 to 3. So depending on how you move them, you're going to have, 0 to 31. Those are going to be painted a flat black. And then I'm going to try to hand letter white numbers, or I might do it the opposite. I might do a white back with black numbers. And part of the back, what's going to help it be a perpetual, this is going to be where the sliding little knobbies are going to be when we get it all glued together. It's going to be quite the experiment here that we're going to be doing. And then it's going to sit on this little stand here that we're going to put together after we paint it. And it's going to sit up here, something like this. Of course, it's going to be all finished with the numbers over here. And as I go through the different paints, one of the things I'm hoping to be able to do with the letters being so tiny, it might be hard with spray paint. I've got 3 different colors here that I plan on doing these words with. Like I said, these are so small, it may not work out. I'm going to do a layer of white, and this is a flat white. And then I'm going to try to come in with a light colored of purple, because purple is a color for Halloween. And then we're going to do a darker one, so it's going to be kind of 3 shades. But these are so tiny, it's going to be hard for me to get that going very well in there. But that's what we're going to try to do. May take a couple of practice runs to get it there. And then for the bubbles part of it, I'm going to do, I can't make up my mind. I think this green here would probably be better for the bubbles. And then I'm going to take a white, put a little bit on like a paper plate with a brush, and dry brush some little swirls on there so it'll look like bubbles. Because I don't think that this is a key lime. I don't think this green apple would, I don't know, it might look good. I may have to try it on a few different pieces to see how it looks like. And that's all the pieces, the paints that I plan to use. And so the next part is I'm going to try to show you how to paint it if I can get it to work out. Okay, I'm out here in the garage. I've put my words down here, and I'm going to do a little bit of painting with the white because it's flat. Just to try to get a little bit of, not easy to get this done here. Okay, so there's the white. Now I'm going to have to figure out about how far down I want to do the purple, and I gotta go get that. Got my paint over here. I think I will let's see, it's this one here I think was the next one. Gotta get this. My garage is kind of full right now. I have been clearing out some stuff, trying to get rid of things that aren't needed. Alrighty, so here goes. Not even gonna let that dry completely. Here's the purple. This one's the satin French lilac. Let's see if I can get this. Okay. Alright. And the middle ones look like it's gonna do okay. Let's see what it looks like from this way. Yeah. So now it's just a matter of, on these words here, I got a little bit more covered on the white than I wanted. But that's okay. So now I'll go get the darker one. Let's see here what the lid is over here. And let's see here. I think this is the one I showed you the other day. Gloss purple. Do we want to do that one or we want to do the grape? I think it was this one here I showed you actually the other day. Grape. There we go. We'll do that one. All right. Back over here. And I think for this last one, I'm going to move this a little further away here. It's kind of fun trying to see all this. It gets the background of the other stuff that I've already done. All right, here we go. What you guys think? That was not too bad, but there's also bigger words. All right, so here we go. So now we're going to try to do. All right. There we go. Yeah, might not have much of the light showing in there. Let's see here. We're going to, yeah, that one there's probably just going to have to go with the two colors because it's not going to do like the 3-color here. Yeah. Alrighty, let's give that a try. Next up, I have the key line. We're going to do the ooey gooey bubbles here. See how we can make them. Ooh, that almost looks glittery. Oh, I think that'll work out perfectly. Let me move on this side. Do a little bit in this direction. There we go. What do you guys think? Oh, that's gorgeous. And next up is the cauldron with the Rust-Oleum hammered. I hope this looks as nice as I hope it. I think it'll come out as. And on these stands, I'm going to have to do them two-sided. So. Let me try to get up there by the bubbles. Oh, it's good and shiny. And I'm not going to do the whole top where the bubbles are going to be. No sense in that. All right, so that's looking pretty decent. Let's see, I might want to hit this one little corner a little bit more. Looks a little dry. All right, so the next, I have the rings already sitting out there ready to go. Right there. With the flat white again, for the sides of the background. I was hoping I'd still be able to see the words, and I can. So. All right, that turned out much better than I expected on that white. You see those numbers really well. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to see them. Let's see here. All right, I think that's good coverage right there. Let's go over here and see how that green is doing. It might take a second coat. That MDF does kind of soak up the color sometimes. Let's see how the waters are doing. The color letters, I really like the way they came out. Got the 3 different colors there. This one here, it's going to be all right, I think. I may end up touching that E a little bit. The D and the R seem to be a little, we'll have to see how those finish up. Alrighty. Okay, so now I have gotten the spray painting done, and I think the words turned out pretty decent. This may look backwards to you because I've got the camera turned around so I can see what I'm doing. Not bad. First time ever doing the spray painting, trying to do a gradient kind of deal. And what I need to do today is I got to take some way to kind of highlight the bubbles here that I'm going to do, and I still need to glue that onto the main piece here on the cauldron. And I need to, this is the back that these rings go on, and then so I need to start gluing those. I'm going to start with the outside ring, have it glue down, and then I'm going to clamp it down once I have the glue on there so it'll stay in place until the glue sets. In the meantime, while that's going, I'm going to take, and I'm not sure you can see the numbers very well on there. They are scored into the wood. I spray painted over them. So now I need to figure out a way to make them black. So what I'm going to do, I'm thinking about, since I'm not real steady with those tiny little paint brushes, and I'm going to use a fine marker and then possibly the fat marker to fill it in. I think I can do a little better using those 2 items than trying to do paint with a paintbrush. So let's get started here. I'm going to try to get the first ring put on here first because I want to make sure it's dry when I'm ready to do the center, because these 2 rings don't glue to it. They've got to be able to turn. But this ring in the middle is going to cover this area right here that says glue area. I got to glue that in there, but make sure I get this in the right position. I need to have the outer ring in place, the 2 movable rings in place, just enough to be able to center this properly so that when it's all glued together, these will move freely to give us our countdown numbers. So let's get started on the gluing. And I'm not going to make you sit through me doing all the numbers and stuff like that. I will record a small section of that and then bring it back. What I'm going to do on the glue here, I need to look at it to see which side's the back and which side's the front. These are not painted for a reason, because you don't want that extra stuff in there. So I'm going to get my glue going here. And I'm on a glass tabletop so that if I get any glue overflow, when it dries, I can just peel it right up. Not sure you can hear that. I peel it up when it dries. I kind of whispered that, I don't know why. Alrighty, so get this glue on here. Now, some people actually buy this stuff by 3M and they stick it on their boards before they cut it in the Glowforge. That's an awesome way to go. If you can afford that 3M stuff, get it. It really works. I, at this time, haven't been able to get it because it's been out of stock from my supplier, but so I'm just using the glue and the clamps. It works just fine for these. So I get it lined up, put on a couple of clamps like that. I got several sitting here, and I gotta be careful. I've got some kind of oozing out. I got a little too much on there. Oh, didn't get quite centered. I'll make sure it's all the way centered while I get these glue clamps on to hold it in place. And I don't want to put those other rings that need to move around in here before the glue dries, because then I might accidentally glue them in place. Don't want to do that. Alrighty, I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I went ahead and I tested out my deal with the markers. The 0 was done with the small marker. The 1 was done with the larger marker. They both seem to work pretty well for this particular case. I found that where we've scored it on these little lines here, which I'm not sure you can, there you go, now you can see it. If you start on the inside of your number, and then you go out to the groove, and you can just follow along that groove pretty easily. These tips seem to go right into that groove, but that way you know you're inside and you're not going to be marking outside of your number. So that's the way I started out with this. I'm not sure how well you can see what I'm doing. Starting inside, and then I'm doing the groove. Now this here, the fine tip, as you can see, doesn't cover very well. So I'm going to switch over to the bigger marker and do this. Go ahead and color it in. Now the thing I'm going to tell you, if you buy this file and you make it, I'm going to suggest that you paint your board, let it dry with, like, paint the white on the whole board, let it dry, cover it with masking tape, and I'll show you what I use right quick. It's right here. It's a great big old deal here. It covers the whole board in one deal. It's 12 inches wide. So I use that to mask my board after the paint is dried. And then after it cuts it, you can take your little, like a Cricut little weeding tool, and pull off just the tape on the numbers. Then you can take one of these little daubers with your black paint and just paint, and then pull off the masking tape from the rest of it. That's the way I should have done it. I was not thinking about that when I actually put this together for getting it cut out. So that was one of the things that I wanted to suggest. Also, hopefully, I'm not much of an artist with paintbrushes, so I'm trying to highlight my bubbles on this. I'm going to put some green and some white together, or maybe just take a little bit of white and see what it looks like first, dab some on, and maybe smear it with one of these dabbers. I think that'd be, for me, the way to go, because I'm not good with paintbrushes. My daughters have all that talent. I don't. Alrighty, I will finish these numbers, come back when I'm ready to start on this. Okay, so now I've got all my numbers colored, and something I found out about the markers is they leave streaks as they get lower on ink, so I had to go over them several times after they dried a little bit. I took the clamps off my ring and it seems to be set. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these rings in, kind of make sure they're centered up, and put my other deal right there, make sure I got it all set the way I want it. Everything moves. Okay, that's not moving. There we go, now it's moving. Okay, so very carefully take these rings out. No, I need to leave them in. Just take the middle out. Put the glue on it. Oh, I'm gonna have to grab my trusty dusty Cricut tool here to get the edge of that, so I can leave these in glue area. And if you notice, the glue area is marked for you. The designer did a very good job on that. And no, this is not my design. I will have to look up who I bought it from. I forgot. So I can tell you, if you want to go buy it, you can go on Etsy and get it from her. I think it's a her anyway. So I made sure which side's up on my, I always get a little bit of a burn mark on the bottom side, so I know which side is up real easily. Okay, make sure everything is where it should be and moves properly. All right, now I'm gonna let that sit and dry. And we're going to come over here and we're going to try to see if we can get this painted. This has been my nemesis because I don't know how to make things look good like that. So I'm going to get a little bit of green. Now this is a Kelly green by Apple Barrel. And then the Apple Barrel white. So I can try to get these on there and see what I can do. Now I'm not going to put a whole lot out here because what I'm doing ain't going to need a whole lot. I'm going to use the smaller dauber and I'm going to dab it on here, kind of. Okay, and then we're going to dab it here. Maybe try to give it a little bit of a dimension thing here. Give it some texture by daubing some more. Yep, should have put my paint bill down. I'm getting it on my glass. There again, this is one thing nice about this table, with it being glass. I could come in and get it off with just a paper towel before it dries, or if it does dry, I can scrape it a little bit with my thumbnail and we'll be able to get that paint right up on this. That's one of the reasons I really love this table. Sometimes I'll put down you may have seen in the other part of the video where I have it's a puppy pad for training puppies where to go potty at, and if you're trying to get them to go like to the back door so they'll let you know that they went out, that's what I use for my paint to protect my surfaces with. Normally the one I had been using, it was so used because I had taken it down to the garage, did the painting on a lot of different things, so I had a lot of different colors on it. All right, so I'm not really sure how well I like this. So I'm just going to daub it all around. The color I actually spray painted on here is kind of dull. So I'm going to cover it up a little bit there. Just a little bit more. Because I prefer the Kelly green. There again, this is supposed to be your witch's brew, so maybe it should look yucky. Okay. So, now I'm going to let that dry. Give you a close-up of that. Don't think it looks much like bubbles, but it gives it texture. And it glues on right here. So that's the next part, is I need to start gluing. So I'll move that over there. And I'm going to put some glue here, glue this on here, and get my words glued on. And I'll come back to finish the other gluing for the back. Alright, so one of the things I do when I've got smaller letters to glue on is I take one of these little trays and I squeeze some in here, and I have a cheap paintbrush that, you know, like they have like in the little kitty section or something like that. It's just something like that there. I dab it in the paint, or not the paint, the glue, and I just start brushing it on because I want to try to make it as thin as I can. That way I have less oozing out when I put it down on the board. Now this one here doesn't have any place in particular. It's not lined out like some of the other words are. So I'm going to get this all glued up here, get it in place, and get the other words in place. And we'll continue to gluing. Thank you. Okay, one of the things I wanted to give you a tip on is after I put my glue in my little tray here, when you're all done, don't worry about trying to wipe it all out, because once it dries, you can peel it right off. It's with this little plastic thing, it does that. Also, here I am trying to do one of these real little letters. So I'm going to be getting glue on my hand. So to keep from super gluing my hand together, or to any of the letters, after I get the letter down, and this particular one has dills on here for you and to see where it goes. So I'm going to do it down, and then I grab a paper towel, and then I keep rubbing alcohol. Get a little bit of rubbing alcohol. That's a fingernail polish pump, by the way. And I do this, and it helps keep glue off my fingers. If you get it immediately after, you don't have to worry about having glue stuck to your fingers. So far I've got that much glued. I still have the draws near across here to do, and then we'll start with the back. Okay, so now I have gone ahead and got all my numbers done. I also went back, I didn't like the way it looked with the Sharpies, so a friend of mine suggested paint pens. Never used them before. I'm loving them now. I'm probably going to get me a whole set. But the numbers look so much better than they did with the Sharpie, because I had a lot of streaks and stuff. Didn't like it at all. Okay, so I'm ready now to try to glue on the front. Okay, this is the top here where you see the small groove at. So I need to put, at about 3 o'clock, I need to put the 0. And then again with the inner one, we're going to put the zeros. I'm going to take, so I got it all glued together now on the front. I'm going to take those 2 zeros, put them in the hole. Make sure my back is lined up. One of the things too, I had somebody tell me about the super glue gel. Thought it might work better for my situation rather than the original glue that I was using. So I picked up a bottle of that. We're going to give this a try right quick. This is going to be interesting to see. So we're going to put a little bit of glue in here. Came out faster than I was expecting with it being a gel. Maybe I didn't get it shook up enough. They did say something about on the package shaking it. So we'll see if it looks any thicker now, because that didn't look like a gel to me. There we go. There we go. Now it looks more like a gel. All right. So I'm going to try to stay along the outer edge as much as I can. Don't really need a whole lot from what I've been told, because it is a super glue. You don't want to accidentally get it on your numbers ring. So very, very little needed. Trying to stay on the outer edge. Now, I was warned that once you put this down, it's down. So I got to try to make sure I get it right where I want it. Make sure I got everything all covered the way I want it covered. Put it down, press. All right, so we've got it pressed together. We'll wait a few minutes here to see if it stays glued. So one of the things I was going to show you why the glue adheres here. With that paint pen, I did some very fine lines on these earrings. Yeah, see that? I left the pumpkin part plain wood, and I went around with the paint pen and just did the web part, and I was astounded by it. I mean, to where I would normally use paint with one of these to go around this, and it'd all be black rather than having that center not be done. So I may do some more stuff with paint pens, get me some more colors, come back in with if I can find a pumpkin orange, do that. Got to do the back side, so because they're going to be dangly earrings, they got to be all pretty. Okay, so let's see if this is already held together. This is It's going to be interesting. It is already held together. All right, now to finish up the deal, we got to, you can see we have our numbers here. Oh, don't want to move. Oh boy, I hope I didn't get no glue there. That one's moving. Didn't think I got any glue on that one, but apparently I did. It won't move. I'll go ahead and put my dots on. I need some paper towel to dot off the glue. And I'll see if I can get that other point ring to move. That's just a shame. I can't believe I did that. I thought I was careful enough not to get it on there, but apparently not. So now I'm afraid I'm going to get it on my fingers. Because it is a super glue. And these you do to put them too deep. Okay, I'm going to do the next one. Alright. Guess I should have used the other glue till I knew more about this glue. And one more. We always cut a little extra on these things just in case you lose one on the floor. Can't find it. Or the crumb tray on your laser might eat it. Ooh, that is, I apparently got some on my fingers. It's wanting to stick. Either that or I'm trying to stick the wrong side down. Let's see here. That's definitely good. It's definitely super glue. Woo! I think I'm going to grab some of my make sure I don't have anything sticking to me. Alrighty, moment of truth after I get this taken care of. See how it seems like it's already okay. Alright. I must have got it. Didn't quite get it centered, so it's being hard to move. And I must have got glue on there because it is not moving. Well, that is a shame after all that hard work. Alrighty, well, if you don't glue your ring, this is what happens when you... There you go. I got it glued. And it's still kind of wet and still trying to stick to my finger. Give you some more maybe alcohol there. Alright, so I'm going to set that to the side. I'm going to show you here. I've got some paint. Don't know if you can see it or not. Get a little bit more of the rubbing alcohol. It's glass. Come dried up. Alright, I want to thank you so much for watching our video. This is the Oily Crafter channel. I'm Judy, and I hope you enjoyed our content today. And hope that you'll see us on the next video. Please remember to like and subscribe and share. Thank you. Bloopers. Okay, as you probably remember from the end of the other one, I glued the outer ring, got it stuck. So I took a flat blade screwdriver, pried it loose. I still haven't quite got it all glued back on there because I wanted to be able to use this. It still gets a little kind of stuck here and there, but I did finally get it loose. Right here's one of the places where it gets kind of stuck. And then it starts pulling the other ring around, but at least I got use. I can use it now. Alrighty, so there's the countdown calendar. Got it fixed. I'm afraid to finish gluing this back where I got it loose because I'm afraid this won't move. I got it, it's got to be the glue that I got too much on there, but I got it fixed. So now I can use it. Alrighty, so some suggestions. If you're going to use the super glue, which is what I used for the last bit there, you might want to wear some gloves, because my alcohol trick, I still managed to get some on me and I can't get it off. Luckily I didn't glue my fingers together, but wear some gloves if you can. So this glue here that I was telling you about the other day, here I'm going to move this out of the way. I was telling you the other day about how, in the little deal, once it dries, it will come off. You can't hardly see it, but it's still right here. So I got my thumbnail underneath it. You can find a place to get it. Well, I had it a while ago. I found an edge where I could get my finger underneath it and get it loose. I started to pull it up, and now it didn't want to do it. Wait a minute, I think I found it. There we go. There we go. Got it. There's the glue. So that's this glue here. Once it dried, I was able to get it out. And I normally use the rubbing alcohol to clean the brush, but I walked off and forgot to clean the brush yesterday, so I had to throw it out. It was just like, ooh, okay. So again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little information tidbits, and that you got a little bit out of it. You maybe learned a few things to do or not to do on projects that you make. And this is Judy Medore with the Oily Crafter. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share. We would appreciate it. Thank you. See you in the next video.